here's a point where you could quite easily lose face or give someone to lose face, because signage in China is quite amusing. And I've got some examples there. I'm going to whiz through, so I've got about 300 slides. The signage is an easy area where we could all have a laugh and take the mickey, because understanding they have got to translate our words and our meanings. So, I mean, there's some favourite rooms that I go to. I mean, this is one of my favourite visiting places. It's a great place to be. That one, that's a strange place to go, isn't it? A nice electric shock. Everywhere I go, I take my camera, and some of these I've got off the internet, but it's an amusing place to go, and you see such funny things, but you can't ridicule them. If this sign is in one of your suppliers' factories, then you shouldn't be ridiculing. You should just try and correct them in a gentle way. These are great. I like these. Save oneself material. I mean, a bloody rope. My favourite wife. I can't remember where I put her, but she's there somewhere. And the WC is free for washing. Please leave after pissing and shitting. Right? So pinyin, there is an example you've just seen there of pinyin. Pinyin was developed in 1979, and it was for translating the Chinese language into English, or the Romanization of the Chinese language. And for those of you who tried to learn Chinese, pinyin is the way to learn it. You can buy translators for pinyin, and you can go onto YouTube. There are pinyin translators on YouTube, lots of textbooks. I mean, pinyin, to try and get 26 words from the Romanized alphabet into 40,000 characters is a task in itself. So that's why you get those translation problems. I said that 40,000 words in the Chinese alphabet, and if you look at graduates and students, when someone leaves school or goes to secondary school at 11 years old, they're expected to know 2,500 letters from the Chinese alphabet. By the time they leave college, they should know 5,000 letters, and then slowly you build it through your lifetime. But there's 40,000 letters in the Chinese alphabet, and we tried to get that into 26. So that's why you get the translation issues. So there's an example of pinyin, and you can see there are 2 letters being used for 5 different words, or 4 different words, I can't count. But it's all about I haven't got my pointer, but it's all about the accent over the letter A, so whether it goes up, down, level, it's all about the tone and how you pronounce that word. Boring, isn't it, really? So if you look at the Chinese success story, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, in 40 years, the country has gone from famine and a cultural revolution into the world's largest workshop. I mean, it's come along and raped and pillaged the Western world and taken everything away from us. But it's all about focus, determination, and when we speak to some of the managers and the directors and the owners of companies out there, they all have a plan, they all have focus, and they all think big. They don't talk about a small business plan, they talk about a 5 million, 10 million pound company and what they're going to do. They've got ambition, they've got drive. They've had the advantages of cheap labour. They've had a lack of legislation. They haven't had to deal with the red tape and the bureaucracy that we deal with in this country. There are not too many barriers to success that can't be bought and got rid of. I'm going to give you a quick example of some ambition and the speed at which this guy's had some success. He's a very good friend of mine. He's in my Guanxi. And he's a good drinking buddy and a good party animal. And he started a PCB. He started in PCBs at Top Search Industries in the New Territories as a CAM engineer. He's had a PCB trading company for 5 years. He's 32 years old. He owns 4 apartments in China. Married, 2 kids. Absolutely going great guns. And this year he's built a factory from start to finish with no borrowing in 3 months. I'm making a prediction, this business is going to be a £10 million business in under 5 years, and he will be a millionaire before he's 40. This is him, William Sung. So some of my staff have met him. He's absolutely stark raving mad in the evening and serious as anything in the morning. He has a great constitution for drinking and going crazy, but in the morning he's up and focused and on with his job. This factory, when I was in China in March of this year, he was telling me that he was going to build this. This was the bar talk, drink talk thing that was going on. When I went back in July of this year, this is what I saw. A brand new factory. Everything brand new. Up and running, making circuit boards. Under 4 months. We can't install an etcher in this country in that time. It's unbelievable drive and energy from this guy, focused. He told us 3 years ago he was going to have his own factory. He's been saving. When we were sitting in the bar with him, Lee and I, earlier this year, he was telling us how much money he had in the bank, and he's gone and done this with no borrowings, $500,000, sorry, he's put on the table and done this from start to finish, not a single piece of second-hand equipment, 3 months. So there's some good things. One of the things that annoys me when I'm in China and what goes against the grain for me is the pollution and what it's doing to the health of the people and the health of us when we're visiting. It is awful there sometimes. And when you look at the statistics there, 300,000 people dying from pollution-related diseases. And it's basically, there is just an abuse of human rights in the way that the factories are being set up out there. Now, they are cleaning up some of the cities. There are people here in this room that I know have been going to China a lot longer than me. And Shenzhen now is a nice, clean city because they're moving all of the dirty industries out. They're not solving the problem, they're just moving it. They didn't say, you've got to clean your industry up, you've got to put extraction on, you've got to get filters on. They just said, we want you out of this city, move on, please. So they're going further into the countryside. And there's a prediction here that the death figure is expected to rise in 2011 and up to 550,000 in 2020. And when you look at that, there's Guangzhou. You know, that's a picture taken from my hotel room. You can't see, there are days there where you can't see the sky. Beijing, good day, bad day, same place. And some of you might know the stories about the Beijing Olympics. When we had the Olympics there, the cars were banned from the roads for a period of time, and every car was given a number plate. And if you had an odd number, you could drive on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday. If you had an even number, you could drive on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So they cut down the pollution, and we had these lovely skies in Beijing during the Olympics, so that when the Western world and all the people from the rest of the country visited, they thought what a lovely place it was. So it's an interesting place, and there's an abuse there. Something that fascinates me there, Chinese people love sleeping. You know, and when the factory shuts for lunch break or the tea break, they turn the lights off and they go to sleep. Doesn't matter where they are. They could be cutting the meat, cutting the food, making a circuit board. They just go to sleep. Right? And you can see these all over the place, all over China. People just sleep, and they just instantly. It's almost like Paul McKenna comes along and says, "Sleep." You know, full of this. Take the glass off. Go sleep. Go sleep. It's unbelievable. Public holidays in China, people believe that the Chinese people are working so hard, so many hours, but there's bloody hundreds of holidays, and we've got one now. We've got the Mid-Autumn Festival coming up. They have a national day in October, 1949, when it celebrated the People's Republic of China. That's another holiday. So there's a list of this year's holidays. So you know, when you look at China, it does have as many holidays as us. They're not poor little people with no holidays. We've got Dragon Boat Festivals, Labor Day, the Qingming Festival. And this one here, the Qingming Festival, to celebrate and to commemorate the dead, is sometimes called the Tomb Sweeping Festival. So there are lots of holidays. And if you're organising trips to China, you need to think about these because it does come to a standstill. You know, the Chinese New Year, you are going to get nothing done during the 7 days of the Chinese New Year and probably 3 days leading up to it. And after the Chinese New Year, 20% of the workforce don't return to work. They stay in their hometowns. Only in China do you see things like this. She's having a lunch. I took this picture at an exhibition I went to recently. And, you know, oblivious to what's going on around her. That's the way to get home from work, isn't it? And, I mean, what crazy idea was that? And these are real. I mean, I'm sitting in my car here and taking pictures of the windscreen. This lorry can hold how many lorries? You know, just how many more they're going to put on there? It's just unbelievable. And you only see it in China. This was actually taken last month. This guy hopped up on the back there. He's got his laptop on his back there. He's hitched a ride of this guy up on the top of this truck. That was taken literally a month ago. Some do's and don'ts for China, and I'm getting to the end there, Bill, so you can stand up if you want. Do eat the food, have some fun, try the food. It's interesting. Don't ask what it is all the time because you might not eat it, but have a go and eat the food. It's in the main quite good. Don't use the toilets. You know, they can be disgusting. Right? Don't drink too much, or you end up like Les, you know, struggling on the coach on the way home. I've got better ones than that, but I was being kind to him. Do enjoy some karaoke. That's one of my customers. Don't visit the kitchen, because this was taken last month. We just had a very nice meal, and I mistook the kitchen for the toilet. Use the public transport. It's quite safe. Try something new. Ken Windsor's here somewhere. He ate that chicken's head. Most of all, don't forget why you're there and do the work. Martin Randall always does the work. So I'm just going to go back to this point here. There was a comment by Chris Patton, and he said it last year, and he finds it difficult to understand why some people regard the rise of China as a threat. Well, most of us in this room have been affected by China. We certainly lost a lot of business because of China, and we've had to rethink our business plan and how we work. So you've got to now decide whether it is a threat or an opportunity. When you look at what William Sung has done with his factory in 4 months, it's a threat. When you look at lead times coming out of China now, you can get boards out of China in 5 to 7 days. It's a threat. The only way you're going to make it an opportunity is if you work with it and are better than it. Listen to some of the stuff that's been said today about lean. We can't fight against what's going on out there. We can work with it, embrace it into our business, and make sure our businesses are better, leaner, smarter, and delivering something quicker and better than that's being made in China. I think that you can make China an opportunity for your business and work with it. And I really do believe that it's worth putting the effort in. We spend a lot of time there, and we put a lot of effort into making China work for us, but at the same time trying to protect what we've got in this country. We've got good expertise, good engineers, but it has to be quick and it has to be lean. That's me. Thank you. Cheers.